The South Winn Coach Conversation brought to you by Fidelity Bank and Trust in Ossian and Calmar, Dave's Collision Shop in Ossian, and Becker Hardware in Ossian. We're with boys basketball coach Blake Moen. The South Winn Warriors right now 4-2 at the holiday break. What's pleased you the most to this point, Coach?
Yeah, thanks, Darren. I'd say what has pleased us the most this year is, and so far, is just the amount of enthusiasm that we continue to come through with every day in practices and open gyms. Our guys have showed a really good level of just wanting to come in and get better and wanting to improve their skills and continue to grow. And because of that, I think that we've really grown from game to game. And we just continue to get better. And I think that's one thing that we look at after every game is, what are the things that we need to continue to improve on, of course, and whatnot. But I also like to just look at, are we improving? Are we getting better? And we're definitely doing that. And I'm really, really pleased with the boys and their efforts thus far. And then on top of that, Darren, I'd also say just us playing together as a team has gotten better to this point as well. We knew coming into the season that we were going to bring a good chunk of guys back as far as, letter winners and that kind of thing. But we also knew that we were going to have some guys that were going to be brand new starters, brand new to varsity from a bench standpoint and whatnot. And those guys are really starting to gel well and play well and better together with every game. So that's another thing we're pleased with as well.
And you had a couple losses, one to an always tough Turkey Valley team and another to a North Fayette Valley team that's very good this year. But you were able to win your final game before the break against Central Elkader. How key was that just to have a good taste in your mouth heading into a 2-week respite?
Yeah, no, I know you're right, Darren. I think that's huge. And to go a tough one against Turkey Valley, and then we played much improved against North Fayette Valley, but like you said, got the loss there. But to come back against Central Elkader, I give our guys a lot of credit. We were really determined to go into Christmas break on a win, and it gives us a lot of confidence as we go into Christmas break. It also helps us kind of look at a few things in practice that maybe we can tweak with maybe a wrinkle here or there, but also just gives our guys just that confidence and stay hungry as we go into the game. And I think if anything too, Darren, it showed our guys that we kind of put together probably our best game going into Christmas. So again, going back to that just growth that we continue to make even after coming off a couple losses is really good to see from our guys, and we look to continue to improve on it.
Jacob Harold's been a kid that's been key to South Winn's success in any sport that he's played in. Baseball was a key part of the football team, and he's off to a very good start on the court basketball-wise. What has helped him take his game to the next level this year?
Yeah, Jake's been playing varsity basketball, mixed in a little bit as a freshman, but he's been a starter for the past 3 years. And I think the number one thing he brings, Darren, is he's just a great leader for us on the floor. He's a great guy that we can lean on to help our younger guys through different drills. He's a guy that has, in games, situations, anyone who's been playing or been on the varsity for that many years has been a part of a lot of varsity games. Overtime games, wins, losses, all sorts of things. So he brings a great experience set point to that too. But he overall is just a great leader for us, a great vocal leader for us that has really helped our younger guys improve, but has also taken us in sometimes taking the game over from an offensive standpoint. I know last year and the year before he had some good scoring years, but I know that he really wanted to improve going into his senior year, and he's done that from an offensive standpoint. His shooting and his just physicality, taking the ball to the rim there, and pushing the ball in transition has really given him a lot of great points this year. But I also think for Jake, he's really improved as a defender over the past year. He's been a key guy for us in our half-court defense. We've been running some man-to-man, and he's been a key guy for us to line up on the opposing team. Best shooter, scorer situationally. Jake also on the offensive end can play point guard. He can play wing. We can put him down low and post up if we want. He can kind of do it all. So I can't say enough about the kind of player he is from an offensive and defensive standpoint, but I think it just comes back to his leadership, his enthusiasm to just get everyone better and to win as many games as we can and just be the best basketball player and leader that we can has been a huge asset for us.
And Trey Greener to this point, averaging a double-double. Of course, you can't coach the size that he brings to the table either. What's been key to Trey's success to this point?
Yeah, Trey is another guy too that has really grown over the past few years, height-wise, of course, but from a offensive defensive standpoint too. Trey really is committed to the sport of basketball. I give Trey Greener a lot of credit. He puts in a lot of time in the off season. I know he plays in a lot of AU leagues. He really, going back even before high school, I know that Trey puts in a lot of time in the gym and has really, really, really progressed as a player. And, I think a big key to his success is just his commitment to the sport and to the game, of playing a lot of off-season basketball, like I said. And I think for him, too, it gives him a lot of confidence, going into a season like this where he's been on varsity now for a few years and he's been played a lot of off-season basketball, even with, COVID and everything else going on, was in leagues and such. And just a guy that is one that I have to kind of chase out of the gym sometimes, Darren, because he's always in the gym, after practice, getting extra shots in. On the weekends, putting in extra time too, on our gun for getting extra shots, and that kind of thing. So his commitment to the sport, his great attitude to just get himself and his teammates better, as well as really progress, improved, to really see him now grow as a junior right now.
How are you guys managing the holiday break from a practice standpoint?
Yeah, so our last practice was the 23rd, and then we pick up practice here today again. So we gave them those days off there and such. So this week we're going all week this week, just trying to get back at it. I think my biggest goal with an off season, or I should say Christmas break, is really number one, get back in shape. I know it's only been a few days, but myself included, a lot of Christmas ham, cookies, those kinds of things. So working, trying to get back into shape in that regard. But also, I think getting back in the gym for a lot of our skills, a lot of the fundamental stuff is a big push for us in the off season or in the Christmas break time. So, a lot of shooting we'll be doing a lot of, defensive things, basic offensive fundamentals as well. And then we'll be adding a few wrinkles coming in here on offense and defense as well. But I look at the Christmas break practices, Darren, as kind of a good checkpoint in the season to get us back to where we want to be, because we were playing much improved basketball going into break and looking to just try to get us back to that point as a goal. And I think the last thing I would say, Darren, looking at our game schedule coming off, I think the first 3 weeks of January, we play 3 games every week, which is exciting because we get to play a lot of games. But I do know from a practice standpoint, it's going to be a lot of, practices those weeks. We're only going to get a couple to clean things up and get back at it. So putting a lot of focus this week on trying to, again, do those things, those fundamentals, the team aspect stuff, because we know once we hit next week, we're going to be playing a lot of games in a short amount of time, which we're excited for, but we have to manage that with practices as well.
And what's going to be the main focus improvement-wise, beginning with today's practice as you get ready for the second half of the year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now that we're still trying to iron out and look at is a lot of our rotations. As I said earlier in our last interview, we have some guys coming back, but we have some young guys that are still mixing in as starters and bench players. So I do think that that's one of the focuses that we're trying to, still seize our rotations and how that and what is going to put us in the best situations to win and whatnot. I do think too, again, working on our skills and fundamentals. We've only played 6 games, and of course that was with some scheduling and different things with COVID-19 and such. But I do think that trying to get still into that game flow, we started to show that, I think, in our last few games before break. But a big focus is going to be us trying to get back into some scrimmaging and whatnot to try to get back into that game flow going into the season, so that we can work on some situations with timeouts and work on some stuff in practices that, when we're in a close game and we're calling a play out of a timeout or switching up defenses, and some of those game time situations stuff we're going to be repping on in practice to try to focus on and get ready to go for our remaining games.
Well, Coach, Happy New Year to you and everyone around South Winn basketball and your family, and hopefully it's a successful January and February for the Warriors. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, thanks, Darren. Appreciate it, and appreciate all you do. Thanks again.
This South Winn Coach Conversation brought to you by Dave's Collision Shop in Ossian, Becker Hardware in Ossian, and Fidelity Bank and Trust in Ossian and Calmar.